who are you to doubt El Dandy?
This is Robbie Eagles.
This is the loosest in Australian wrestling, Adam Brooks.
Hi, this is Mimic. This is 5 times the world's heavyweight champion, the Scrap Daddy himself, Scrap Iron Adam Pearce.
This is Brian Alvarez, and you are listening to Wrestle Radio Australia.
Welcome to the show, folks. My name is Josh Armour, and thanks very much for downloading Wrestle Radio Australia. This is our first episode.
Oh, yeah! G'day, this is Big Brody Marshall.
This is Brian Alvarez.
This is Dean Brady of the Millennials.
This is the Jurassic Punk Sid Parker.
How many of you guys have heard the term KP?
Hello, doggers. This is Jay Hunter from OSW Review.
This is Matt Grim Basso.
This is the loosest in Australian wrestling, Adam Brooks.
This is Scrap Iron Adam Pearce, and you are locked in
to Wrestle Radio Australia.
I in the game, I'm champion, I'm Triple H. Undertaker, I'm the maker, bury the brother like Kane. Ooh, 1-3, hit the tombstone, hit the choke slam on face. Ooh, yeah, like a macho heel, tell like country muscle. If you suffer like tomatoes, I'ma keep a couple models. Ooh, and you may call me HBK. When I'm tuning up the venue, best be getting in my way. Ooh, yeah, I'm degenerate, I love it, yes, I love it. If you ain't down with that, then I got two words for you, suck it. Too sweet, put your fangs up. Too sweet, holding up the club. Let's be busy, 23, got me feeling way too sweet.
I was trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, and it was just awful.
I've turned chicken salad into chicken shit. I will continue to do so.
Here I was, blaming AEW for feeding you chicken shit, knowing you mindless millennials would be eating it up as if it were chicken salad, when it's really been your fault all along.
Make chicken salad out of chicken shit. People is as people does, that's all there is to it. Put a square peg in a round hole, just never seems to fit.
This is Bianca Belair.
Hey, this is Kevin Owens.
Hey, it's Seth freaking Rollins.
It is the man, Becky Lynch.
It's Rhea Ripley here, and you're listening to Wrestle Radio Australia.
Hello, and welcome to Australia's longest running wrestling podcast, Wrestle Radio Australia. I became Becky Lynch for a second there, if you know, you know.
Wow.
And I've been doing it 3 years. I still can't get it fucking right. Lachlan, come back. And tonight is a bit of a different episode. See, that's what I was trying to think of. If you're joining us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Wrestle Radio Australia, or listening to us on podcast, normally we do a review. But sacre bleu, we're not going to do that tonight. Oh, no. Because the second half of our show is a very, very special interview that our man, Lachlan Albert, did with the one and only Buddy Matthews. Track. Whoop. Either way, with Buddy, former silver
cracker, aren't
you? Joining me as always is the guy that takes the piss out of me when I fuck up. It's the one, and I swore it twice in the intro. It's the one.
I know.
Best manager ever. It's Todd Eastman. Beastie, I shouldn't be doing this anymore.
I tell you, we have to monitor your intake before the show. During the show, fine.
I don't know what you're
pure
talking
air,
about.
oxygen. Too much oxygen is.
Too much oxygen. We're warm down here in Melbourne tonight. It's very hot.
Please don't give me what this is. For people that are around the country, he's sitting there complaining to me, who lives in Brisbane, that he is warm because it is 24 degrees. Mate, it is still 20. Freaking what's the it's 24 degrees now.
This will settle it. It's 20 to 9 and it's 29 degrees. It's not that fucking warm. See, it's warm. Jugs Bunny's joining us in the chat for a giggle. Jugs, I hope to see you at what a weird thing to say. Jugs, I hope to see you at MCW this weekend. There's 1,000 people. They've sold 1,000 tickets. Isn't that absolutely phenomenal? Congratulations to Rowan and his team. They've worked really, really hard for this moment. And it's a fantastic card. Saturday, December 8th, the show starts at 2:45. MCW Endgame at the Melbourne Pavilion. Let's have a chat about it. 20-person over-the-top rope battle royal for number one contendership to the Inter-Commonwealth champion. Who do you think? Championship match. Who do you think is going to take it?
I don't know. That field is wide open for because you've got guys that you would think would be like people that I'd be like, okay, that guy has a fair chance of winning it, and they're in the show later on, like Lucky and Jarvis, like two guys on the top of my head that I'd be like, okay, they're two guys I'd say have a really good chance of winning it. They're not in contendership, so like it's a wide open card when you think about it.
I think
that match is wide open.
I think it could be Jarvis. Or
I suppose it depends. It depends where it's placed on the card.
Yeah.
Like if it's first, there's no way that Jarvis is going to win it. If it's open, okay. And Tuckman has 2 chances according to the poster. Well, there you go.
See,
Tuckman's not a bad shout. That's not a bad shout either.
Tuckman's not Tyson Reed though. Jugs Bunny has asked if we're both going to be there. No, I don't think Todd's going to make it down from Brizzy, but I will certainly be there, having just moved into a new house. So that'll be an interesting show for me. The Dropouts will team with Mikey Broderick to face the Midnight 3 in tag team action. Who you got and why, Todd?
Well, I would imagine Midnight 3, just because this is a perfect way to establish them.
Yeah, I think so.
A solid unit.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Because they've taken some bruises over the last couple of matches, last couple of shows, sort of thing. They haven't looked the best, even though they've won. Like I think they won one of them, but they haven't looked the best coming out of it. So this is a chance for them to really establish themselves as a strong trio.
And really, the Dropouts will lose nothing. The Dropouts and Mikey will lose nothing. That's going to be over like Rover. So I agree with you. I think this is pretty much time to give Midnight 3 that push and get them that match. Jarvis and Lucky O'Leary compete to be an icon. I'm all there for this one. You can probably tell. I reckon Lucky O'Leary is going to win because Robbie Thorpe will mess things up, which is why Jarvis will then win the over the top rope. Todd, what do you think?
I've got this feeling that Rocky is going to throw a spanner into the works and put Robbie Thorpe in as a special guest referee.
Oh, that's quite possible too.
Because it's the switch.
Yeah, we know that Rocky likes to do things like that, and we know that Jarvis and Robbie haven't been getting on. What a great show. We'll come back to that because I reckon that should be the semi-main. The MCW women's title. I love this again, and I said this at the time that it's fantastic to see Erica Reid, an Indigenous Australian, and Eugenia, an Islander, fighting for a major women's title in Australia. I think Eugenia's going to do this.
Yeah, I smell an upset. I think
Eugenia's going to do this, and I think that the crowd they're not going to entirely hate it. They're going to find a reason. And I've got an interesting reason why. Oh, Jugs, it's just a guess. Jugs is saying, no, don't say that. But it's just, my guess is as good as anyone's, really. But I reckon Sid is going to come out and fuck it up.
Okay. I don't see that happening. I just see Eugenie getting the win. I just see it. And the funny thing is, the last couple of shows I've been at with her, I've been keeping on like going up to her and thinking, "Oh, look, it's the next MCW Women's World Champion, Eugenie." She's just like, "Shut up."
She's such a delightful human being. We have an Inter-Commonwealth title match that's not on here. It is Robbie Thorpe against Tommy Knight against Mitch Waterman.
That's right. I forgot to add that one. I apologize.
That's going to be one hell of a match. I think Robbie's going to keep it. But
I can't see them. I can't see them taking them off Robbie. But it's one hell of a match. It's a great match for him to have.
And Robbie's terrific. Robbie's a really nice human being, and B, he's got a really good position in that show at the moment. And no, I can't see them. My guess is that it's going to be Eugenie beating Erica will be the singles title change, because then we have Slex against Caveman Ugg. I actually think Slex is going to hold on to it.
Yeah, I can't see them putting the belt on Ugg because there's been no real build to it. Like there's been a little bit, but nothing really where you go, okay, it's time for Caveman to get this, especially with the Icons. Like the Icons are still on a bit of a roll. It's not really that time to start beating them left, right, and center. Like they're probably going to lose in the main event, so I can't see them losing in like all their titles.
I think they are as well. I think the 3 stages of Hell match, the Icons of Adam Brooks and Rocky Monero against the Parea of Eli Theseus and Gabriel Eros. I mean, that's going to be just a great match. I actually think the Parea are going to take it.
Yeah, I think that the stage is set for those guys to. We talk about them all the time, like they are the best tag team going around in the country. Blah blah blah. I just feel like this is their, and I know it sounds weird to say. I feel like this is their coming out party.
I think so a little bit too. As Matt,
I feel like you'll see something like the Icons will get involved, but then Buddy will come out and even out the odds.
Yeah. Quite probably. Matt Hustwaite says, it sure does feel like we're building for a big babyface ending for 2024. Yeah, exactly. But Buddy's got reason to come out as well. Speaking of Buddy's confirmed to appear. Now, Nick Armstrong.
You're having a cracker.
Not Nick Legstrong. See, that's what I started to say. Has actually called out Buddy Matthews. I reckon they're in a bit of a pickle because there's no way you can't sort of pop when Armstrong comes out at the moment. His new gimmick is just fantastic. It really is. It suits him to a T. I think it's going to be most interesting. And if you want to hear what Buddy's got to say about this match and other matters, stick around because after we have our break in about 5 to 10 minutes, actually, it's probably about 20, 25 minutes away.
I was going to say, what are you doing?
We have an exclusive interview with Buddy done by our own Lachlan Albert. You want to know where Lachlan is? That's where he is. He's hoity-toitying it up with Buddy. And
he's been a real pain in the ass since that Darby Allin thing, and now Buddy. It's really starting to go to his head.
It's not like he interviewed Becky Lynch, Rhea Ripley, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and
yeah, I know. But I mean, you were in like a media scrum sort of thing. He went and got some one-on-one time, so he's very. The ego's starting to get a bit out of control now. I mean, you saw the message in our little texting. It's like, I don't know if I'll be home in time for the show tonight. I'm sorry.
He also asked you where his rider was. I want to know what's in this rider, mate. I mean,
and I said to him, look, I'm the one that manages rider. You do the commentary.
There you go. There's other things happening this weekend. So that, of course, MCW is on Sunday at doors open at 2. Show starts at 2:45. If you're expecting
it's going to be. It's going to be absolutely huge. Sold 1,000 tickets. There's standing room only left. That's it. If you're not in Melbourne and you can't make it in Melbourne, it'll be up on, was it Stream Horizon?
I think so.
Yeah, it'll be up on Stream Horizon on the Monday night. Yeah. So you won't even have to wait a full week. Monday night you can watch MCW Endgame if you can't get a ticket. And if you're not in Melbourne and you could not get a ticket, because eventually they'll sell out those standing rooms. They just will.
It's as good as sold.
To be in the Melbourne Pavilion in that atmosphere, end of the year show. Everything that they've done during the year has been leading to this show. It's going to be an absolute cracker. I can't wait for Monday night to watch the show, to be honest with you.
I think it's going to be fantastic. I think that this year, like we're going to discuss this in a few weeks. I'm not pulling any spoilers for the awards, but this year there is no doubt MCW were the Federation of the Year in Australia. But we can discuss that more later. Jugs, come and say hello. I'm around. Come and say hello. We've got a lot of other things happening this weekend. If you're in New South Wales, Newcastle Pro Wrestling Shattered is on Saturday, the 7th of December. Up there in Queensland Wrestling Alliance, QWA, Ground Zero is on Saturday the 7th. And United Pro Wrestling is presenting Fortitude Valley. Is also on Saturday, December 7th. South Australia has Adelaide Championship Wrestling ACW, the fight before Christmas on Saturday, December 7. Tomorrow night, Mayhem Pro on Friday, December 6th, as we're recording this, or tonight. Yes, Jugs, you get a photo and a hug with me. Of course you do. Mayhem Pro presenting their summer showcase on Friday, the 6th of December. PCW, Professional Championship Wrestling, exactly what it says on the tin, are presenting Christmas Chaos on Saturday the 7th as well. And, of course, the big one, MCW Endgame on the 8th. Also, WA on Southern Territory Wrestling Ambition 3 is on Saturday, December 7th. That one's a tough one to say. EPW, speaking of EPW, they have their WrestleMania on the 14th of December. That is Saturday next week. It is Reawakening 23, featuring, and what an amazing card. The EPW Invitational Final, CJL versus Hayden Zenith. You got to think it's going to be Hayden Zenith, but who knows? Who knows? Tyler Jacobs' final fight is an unsanctioned match against James Hartness. It's going to be great. As Matt Huswaite, good friend, says, Mayhem Pro, best hidden gem in Victorian wrestling. Yeah, well, there's no argument. They're really, really good. We've got a triple threat tag team championship match. DNT versus ATO versus the Pulse. I mean, I don't like DNT, but I want to see them beat the Australian Tax Office. Either way. We've got... I knew that would make me. I've been building that joke up for weeks. We've got the Pen, Solomon Blackwell against Damian Slater. My goodness, that is going to be phenomenal. We both know that they're great scientific wrestlers. And, of course, the big one, the four-way, the EPW Championship, Marcus Pitt, Taylor King, Jesse Lambert, Breaker Kingston, 4 people who definitely will put on a great match. Now, just letting you know that we're going to look at that show in depth next week. We're going to preview it in depth next week when Lachlan will have received his caviar and champagne that he wants in his fighter. So we will be looking at that a bit further next week. Also, next week to celebrate Wrestle Radio Australia Reawakening Week, we'll be interviewing Tyler Jacobs, Hayden Zenith, and Jesse Lambert, all in the lead into the show. So that is going to be really, really worth having a listen to. Now, moving on to other things.
What that is, I thought I'll just explain before we go further.
Sure.
What that basically will be is, like, during the week we'll be having the interviews come up on our feed. So, like, it'll probably be on Twitch and that as well. So you'll see, like, the day of when it's coming up. There'll be interviews with Tyler Jacobs, Hayden Zenith, and Jesse Lambert in the lead up to the show. We're basically sort of like partnering with EPW for the week, just to make it a reawakening week for us here at Wrestle Radio Australia on the channel. So during the week, there'll be the 3 interviews. On the Thursday night, it'll be the review of MCW Endgame, and we're going to be previewing Reawakening. And then maybe on the Friday, and that's when we'll play the Jesse Lambert interview, just to like cap the week off. A guy that's in the main event, that'll be the main event sort of like interview for that week. So keep your eyes peeled for when they're going to be up, but they'll be up during the week next week, because it is the biggest show. Like, Endgame is the biggest show for the year for MCW. EPW Reawakening, for 23 years now, it has been the show of the year to watch for EPW, and we're very happy to be able to try and help them get the word out that the show's on, and also to be able to talk to the 3 of the best wrestlers off that roster during the week, to be able to really to get to know them. Because I'll be honest with you, I got when I got asked to do it, they're like, "Oh, who would you like to talk to?" And I just said, well, basically, I just want to talk to Tyler Jacobs, because he's been around since his last match.
Yeah.
I really want to dig in deep and talk about his career and talk about everything leading up to that. So it's going to be a really a fun week, because I haven't got any more shows coming up for the year. I decided to just, instead of having a rest, put more work on my plate, because I'm an idiot.
So Jugs Bunny has said very nicely, you guys are awesome when it comes to talking wrestling. We're very informative. Thank you so much, Jugs. Also, you won't offend us with cash. All right. So we have...
Wow, you are popping me tonight.
That's what she said. Just so you know, tickets for the Pro Wrestling League with Renegades of Wrestling, Australian Wrestling Super Show. It is the night before AEW Grand Slam. They're on sale now through OzTix. Ringside tickets are already gone. Get your tickets to this. The venue isn't changing.
No, I think there are only like 3 or 4 like silver tickets left as well. Like basically nearly the whole of the bottom like area is nearly sold out. I think there are like maybe the last 2 rows of that bottom seated area to sell.
Wow. Fantastic.
But aside from that, everything else is gone. So if you want to sit down to watch a show, I would get in pretty quickly. Otherwise, you'll be stuck up in the mezz. Although that's a great view for a show. If you want to be sitting down, I'd be getting in and get those tickets pretty quick.
I'm often placed up in the mezz, but I love it up there. Just a reminder, the Australia versus India showdown has been moved to the Thornbury Theatre on December 22. Ticket holders for the Ballarat show have hopefully received their full refunds by now, and tickets for the Thornbury Theatre show are on sale. There are a lot available.
Plenty left over. Get around. You will get a good seat at the moment if you're looking. So,
yeah, if you're looking, you can get a ringside seat. Stay tuned for more updates via Oceania Pro Wrestling for that at oceaniaprowrestling.com. Okay, we're going to move to international wrestling because there's a few things to talk about. I am very, very, very pumped for this. Deadline, the NXT show on Sunday our time. It looks fantastic. There is no doubt this looks fantastic. Let's go from the bottom. There is an NXT Underground match, Jada Parker versus Lola Vice. Todd, do you watch NXT?
I pop in and out, especially now that I nearly said her real name. Now that Zaria's on it, I do catch it a lot more than what I used to. But it's a great little show.
Who's going to take that one, Jada or Lola? Who do you think? Who do you like?
Well, I know we don't talk about NXT a lot, but I remember I told you ages ago that Jada Parker, for me, I think Jada Parker was the reason that WWE didn't bother really chasing Mercedes Moné anymore. Because this girl is she's the next. She has it. Yeah. She can talk. She can work. She's like, I know she's not being heralded the way that like Julia, Stephanie McCool, Zaria, etc. being, but she's been working her ass off in that roster for the last couple of years.
I think this will be a really good match.
And she looks like when she talks, she looks real.
There's something very believable. Like I watched the show this evening while I was eating, and the way she was calling out Lola, just going, "I'm sick of this shit," and like it was a reality to it. It's great, really well done. Yeah. Big fan of hers. The NXT Tag Team Championship. Nathan Frazier is pulling double duty. Nathan and Axiom defend against Trayvon Heights and Miles Bourne. Who is going to take that one? Todd.
Look, my mind says that. So my heart says that Nathan Frazier and Axiom will probably win it, but my mind thinks Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne might, which will lead up to Axiom breaking up in the Iron Survivor match.
Yeah, I think that Frazier is going to walk out. I mean, Heights and Bourne aren't really heels. Like, they're not going to do a big heel because they're like No Quarter Catch Crew are pretty popular. So yeah, I think that it's just going to be Frazier's going to walk out on him and Axiom's going to have no chance. I think Tavon. I think Heights and Bourne will win it more because it's time for Axiom and Frazier to sort of feud. Or
they've had that. Yeah, they've had that for a while, haven't they? Yeah, I know, but on and off because I know they lost it for a bit to Chase U and.
Yeah, but it's been going for about 6 months that they've been.
Yeah.
Champions on and off, but yeah. So we move on to the women's Iron Survivor match. Julia against Stephanie Vaquer against Sol Ruka against Ren Sinclair against some person called Zaria. I don't know. Who do you think's going to win? I mean, I know who I want to win.
Yeah, like that's the thing. We all know who we want to win. I don't know if that's who's going to win. That's the thing. I just don't know. This is wide open. And for those of you that don't know the rules of the Iron Survivor match, it's a time limit match, and basically the last person who got the pin is in charge or is in the driver's seat to win it. Yeah, that's I've got that. I've got
the last
that right.
person who gets the pin, but when you're pinned, you're in a penalty box for 2 minutes.
Yes.
So it's
yes.
kind of
and I think
really strategic.
And doesn't the last person who got the pin, don't they have to get pinned? I'm trying to remember.
Oh no, the person who took the pin is in a box for 2 minutes. I can't remember.
Yeah, the person who gets pinned goes into the box.
Yeah.
But then I think I can't. Please, somebody in chat if they know for sure. Because wasn't the whole thing about when Grayson won it was that he kept running away from him so they couldn't pin him?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I could be wrong, but I think that's what, like, whoever got the last pin, then they're basically it. And they have to get pinned.
I think, from my perspective, it's either Sol Ruka or Zarya, and I hope it's Zarya.
You reckon you don't think Ren Sinclair might sneak
Not
out the
after
win because of the way they had to win it?
Not after that win on... I mean, she'd be great, but not after the win on the weekly show. I like Ren Sinclair. I think she's come a long way.
Yeah, it's like that is a wide open field.
But I think whoever wins it is going to take that title from Roxanne, and Roxanne's going to move up.
Yeah, I think they're getting ready for a whole lot of these girls to move up, especially if they take SmackDown to 3 hours, like it's been rumored.
And
like,
don't
they're going to need
that,
some more people up there.
That, like, yes, Julia, you need to leave Julia, Stephanie, or Zarya in NXT. To not to build them up more, but to anchor that women's division.
I think Zarya should be there for at least another 6 months.
I agree.
Till after WrestleMania, at least. Because, like, it's one thing that she's been debuted really well and she's looked really good. She's still very young, working that TV style.
Yeah,
like she still has a lot to learn when it comes to that, and that's not me being like a downer. That's just me being like real about it. She's not really done anything but like she hasn't done any televised matches until the last 2 that she's had on NXT.
Yeah.
Basically the first real live TV matches that she's had. So she's still got a lot to learn when it comes to that. So as great as it is that they're pushing her and all of that, and it's amazing to see, and we love it, and we're 1,000% behind her, and we hope she wins the Iron Survivor match and all that. I think she just needs time, so when she does really go up to that main roster, she is absolutely cherry ripe to go.
Yeah. And let's be honest, they teased the storyline with Jordan, so they're probably going to keep them both in NXT for a little bit. The Men's Iron Survivor Challenge, Javon Evans, Nathan Fraser, Wesley, Ethan Page, Eddie Thorpe. Eddie Thorpe, there's a question mark because of the way NXT ended. Who you got and why?
See, a lot of this depends on who wins the main event. Because I think if Ridge wins the main event, then Javon Evans could and should come out with a win. If Trick wins it, maybe Wesley.
I can see Trick against Wesley. Wesley's my pick. Wesley's my pick.
I think Javon against if Ridge wins it, Javon against Ridge Holland be a great little series. That young, like the X-Pac type guy that was cool to see too this week. Like I was really your age when I beat Ray Razor Ramon and Raw. I'm like that's awesome.
That was really fun. And you could see I like the way Javon played, very awe-inspired and slightly intimidated. It was beautiful. It was really well done.
Which, like, and especially when it's funny because he must be
through the too sweet up.
Yeah, he must be really tall because, like, I've been near X-Pac, and X-Pac's not a short guy.
Waltman's quite tall.
Yeah, and like Javon looked a lot taller than what, like Waltman looked in that promo. But yeah, that's my thing. I think Javon, if Ridge wins, Javon Evans should win it. If Trick Williams is going over, I think Wesley. I don't know if that means if you see Wesley win it, then you know Trick's going to win. But take that how you will. But I just think it's the way it's going to be.
X-Pac's about 6'3", I'd say. Jack's funny asking the question. Do you want to look that up while I talk about the main event? Speaking of, the main event for Deadline is Trick Williams defending the NXT Championship against Ridge Holland. Now, I want to say one thing about Ridge Holland. He's still not phenomenal, but by geez, he has improved in the last few months down in NXT. I mean, the matches against Chase U had real weight. He's got character work down a bit better. He's never going to be my favorite in-ring performer, probably on reflection because, you know, what he did to Big E's career. And boy, should we talk about that in a few minutes. But
he is 6'1".
6'1", so that's pretty tall. Like, that's no short ass. But he was standing next to Kevin Nash and Scott Hall for much of his career.
Yeah, that's fair, yeah.
Because Scott Hall was very tall, and we all know Nash was over 7. Oh, about 7, really. I think that Trick Williams is going to win this. Todd's 6'4".
I'm 5'11" on a good day. But if I'm standing next to Renegade, because apparently Renegade is 6 foot, I must be at least 6'5". The way they've built Ridge, I can see him winning that title. The way that he's been built, the way he dismantled Chase U, the way the momentum is there for them to do it.
I can see him winning the title.
I don't know if you're going to keep. Go on.
But maybe not this time around.
Yeah. See, I don't know if you're going to keep what this does to Trick. If you just keep giving him the belt and taking the belt off him, then giving him the belt and taking the belt off him.
That's why I think he's going to keep it.
Do you know what I mean? That's the thing that's got me going. Maybe they don't do that.
I would have Trick win this just like, you know, both are at the point of exhaustion and Trick manages to get a cover. Ridge says it wasn't decisive and he wants a decisive ending, so 2 out of 3 falls or something, just a submission match or some kind of I quit match, definite end. But it's going to be a great show. I'm really looking forward to it. WWE are putting on good shows, kind of. Let's talk about War Games. Shinsuke Nakamura defeated LA Knight. We have a new champion. I like that Shinsuke's the champ.
Very out of nowhere, though. I possibly would have given him a little bit longer to build him before they did this, but I don't hate it. I just think that they could have cooked it a bit more before they did it.
I like that they did it, but I think that it's just till WrestleMania, and then hopefully LA Knight wins it back and does something with the belt, because it felt like he never really got, aside from open challenges. Yeah. Occasional thing here and there. He never got grounding with the belt. The opposite of that is Bron Breakker, who defeated Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser in a triple threat. I love this.
Yeah, what a match. Great match.
I like that the ending was really sudden. I like that it was it's over.
Oh, the way that they suckered the crowd in with I'm sure they thought Sheamus was going to win that title for that one of those near falls.
Our good friend Rosie has popped in and said, "Let's go, Shin. My boy has a title again." Screams in Japanese girl voice, "Shinsuke!" There you go. Was that all right, Rosie? Let me know. And he thinks LA Knight wins it back on the Netflix debut. I'm not so sure. Jugs Bunny. Sorry to say, but to me, LA Knight is just a catchphrase. That's it. Jugs, marry me. Gosh.
Jeez. But no, that was a good match. A really, really good match.
It was a lot of fun. Also a really good match. Gunther defeating Damian Priest. These guys went at it. They beat the leather out of each other, didn't they?
And was this Gunther turning babyface?
I think it's there. I think he is just too good to keep heel. Not quite, but not entirely not, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think he's
because for those of you that didn't watch it, during the match, Damian Priest was on the outside and Finn Balor came out of nowhere, double stomped him, and then Gunther just attacked Finn Balor and beat the shit out of him before throwing Damien back into the ring. So, sort of a little bit of and now it's the program looks to be Finn Balor and Gunther going forward. Finn Balor and Gunther will be one of the matches on Saturday night's main event.
Yeah. I think it almost is. He fought Dom on Monday, and Dom started getting cheers, but it's so hard to tell.
Yeah.
From Rosie, I think this is the start of a Dom face turn, not Gunther a very long, slow face turn. Possibly.
No, I think both of them can turn. It's not an either-or option here. I think both of them are going to do it.
What's happening with Dom is he's so entertaining that they're just not going to be able to keep him a heel. He'll still get booed, but he'll be a face. The women's War Game match. We had Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Bayley, and Naomi defeating Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. This was just botch after botch in some spots. I'm so sorry. They did not hold this together well at all. Todd.
This was like, you remember a while ago we were talking about like Nia Jax came back and she looks really good now. Like she looks like she's really turned things around. She's sort of gotten it. She doesn't look like that. She was the absolute shit in this thing.
It wasn't
the
just her.
Absolute shit. It was. I don't know why you would have her start the damn thing. Why would you do it? Like but she's the one who was the main culprit. Those chair shots. Jesus, I've swat flies harder than like she threw that chair shot.
But Bayley looked like there were spots Bayley missed, and she's never missed spots. It just didn't quite work. I did love Rhea's masking here. I agree with Jugs Bunny on that. But I just thought that this match was disappointing.
Yeah, it was really. It was. I don't know. Would you say that this is probably the worst match that Rhea has been in WWE? Because I was thinking about it the other day. I can't think of any really bad matches where you look at it and go, well, that was the shit. That was really good.
Probably. And she was probably a little frustrated as well.
Although what did pop me is in the post-match interview, like some idiot asked Io Sky, I think it was like because I think she's supposed to be taking on was it Liv Morgan now? Yeah, she's challenging Liv for
Liv Morgan on Saturday night's main event.
And the idiot like journalist who like you're supposed to be watching the product so you know what's going on, asks her with a straight face and not one bit of like ironic or like irony in it. It was basically Liv Morgan has Raquel Rodriguez on her side. Do you think you'll be able to have anyone on your side going into this match? Whereas Io Sky said, well, you do know I'm a member of Damage Control, right? She said it much more politely than that, but still, like, you saw everyone else on that panel just start laughing. It's just like, come on, dude. Seriously, you get one question. Try and make it a good one.
Make it a really good one. I mean, Io's got 20 years of a wrestling career that's been phenomenal. What are you going to ask her about? We then come up to the War Games, the men's War Games match. War Games match.
There you go.
The original Bloodline, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Sammy Uso, and CM Punk. They defeated the Bloodline, the new Bloodline, the current Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, Jacob Fatu, and Bronson Reed. I like this match more. I did not like the ending.
What did you like about the ending?
I wanted the heels to win. Because...
Oh, that's right. You did say that.
I think it was too decisive. I think it was so decisive that it doesn't give you a reason to watch the show again. The thing that I did like, though, was Punk afterwards saying, you owe me a favor now. That's interesting. I mean, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate the ending. I didn't hate the team winning. Rosie would ask Io Sky her thoughts on Sum 41 pulling out of the Good Things Festival. Sorry to those who are going to Good Things. If you're going to Good Things, don't miss Frank Turner. Saw him on Tuesday. He was fucking fantastic. Jamie did call it with the tsunami from the top, and unfortunately, Bronson effed up his ankle. Truly a shame.
Yeah, he did his ankle. Jimmy broke a toe.
Yeah.
You said it was too decisive, but like it took every finisher from every one of those, like the bloodline, to beat Solo Sikoa.
Did it though?
So,
did they just want to inflict punishment?
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean though, and like they it's not like one person hit a move and they just pinned him. They made sure that like you're gonna have to take every one of these things to not kick out. The tsunami was insane, and it sucks that he hurt himself, especially at this point of where he is, because that's the big thing going forward. The best thing that this had, and it was because, and we talked about this last week, the women's match already started behind the 8 ball because they had, like, it was what we normally don't see, the baby faces having the advantage. They should never have the advantage. We are joined at the moment by the special interviewer to the stars. Hang on, I think I accidentally booted somebody.
It's me, Jeff Setti.
What's going on? What's going on?
Sorry, It's in his contract. It's in his contract.
Put me back in.
No,
I've got to find it. Where is it? Where is it?
Where is it? He says.
Let me do it. There we go.
There you go. Thank you.
Ow.
There we go.
Lachlan in here to run this show. Clearly.
Oh.
Yeah, here we are. The three of us, the band's back together. Sorry, Lachlan, your caviar and champagne will be delivered soon. Listen back on the show.
That's what I like to hear.
What was your... Andy Fazaria says, Solo's group needed to win so much more. I agree with him. The face team can all go off as individuals and be fine. I'm not sure where the bloodline goes from here. Rosie says,
but look,
Bronson getting hurt is a bummer. I imagine that spot attacking Sammy was booked for Bronson. They brought McIntyre back early to cover that. No, I think it was always going to be McIntyre.
The problem with the problem with what Andy said is that the Solos group didn't need to win that much more because all they've been doing for every week is being on top.
I still would have booked them to go over. What were your general thoughts of Survivor Series, Todd?
Like, aside from the women's war games, it was very solid.
It was
very solid.
What's mate?
Yeah, I agree. I think that the singles matches were maybe a little predictable, but I thought that the in-ring
You thought Shinsuke was predictable? Because Sportsbet didn't.
we all agreed it had to be. Like, I don't know how Sportsbet had that so low. But yeah, like, other than, I guess, some of that women's war game stuff, which in general, I thought that match was still good. It was a pretty solid card all around. And I liked the way that the men's war games match developed some of the stuff that clearly we're going to see going forward in that main event scene.
That I do agree with you. Let's just quickly touch on Monday Night Raw because there was a very, very, very important moment in Monday Night Raw. And I apologize if this is a spoiler for anyone. The New Day appear to be over. I do not want to undersell the importance of the New Day as a trio at the time that they came out in 2014, initially as heels, who were so entertaining that the crowd just fell in love with them. Woods, E, and Kofi have all brought so much to the table. But this needed to happen. This absolutely needed to happen. The shock was that Woods and Kofi both turned. And again, we got a justification that is 100% consistent. What did you guys think of it?
I don't know. Well, they're not over. They just kicked Big A out.
Yeah.
So they're still together. They're still a tag team. I don't know if you've if you've been on X at all, but Big E's girlfriend got in on the act.
Yes, I saw that.
It's like, if you got a chance, please go and check it
Chris
out.
Yim has been absolutely dominating.
Yeah, that's so good. So very good. It popped me when I was ready. And like, if you didn't, Andy Fazari like knocks it on the head when he just said, I don't think I've been this sad watching wrestling in a decade. The way Big E sold his sadness and confusion was it was, yeah. The best part was, and we all called it going in, we're like, okay, Woods is going to turn on Kofi. That's what the end of this thing is. And then to the actual turn of Kofi, the way Kofi did it. You broke your neck, so what? Holy shit. You know what I mean?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I just loved it. I thought this was so good. I wanted to touch on that. And the other thing I wanted to touch on was the first Intercontinental title match Dakota Kai won, which actually makes me really happy. I hope she stays injury-free, and I hope that she does well.
Look, when we saw that bracket for the Women's Intercontinental title, it's interesting to note that a lot of our predictions for first IC Women's Champion are in the bracket.
Yes, it's going to be very interesting. What did you say? That you broke your neck, so hotline hurt more than any physical attack would have. Yeah, it did, because really, I don't think he can take a bump at the moment. So
if you're listening at home and want to know what Todd just mumbled under his breath, Andy from Bob Vance wrote that you broke your neck, so what line hurt more than any physical attack would have. Yes, because it puts an end on Big E's in-ring career as well. Subconsciously, we're seeing that Big E's in-ring career is now definitely over. And that hurts. And hearing that hurts. Because he'd be back by now. And he's not.
Yeah. Or is it? Or have they given him a timetable saying, hey, look, in 6 months, if you continue on the progression you are, we might be able to clear you.
Yeah,
they can't give him that.
For me, it felt like this is kind of the closest he has been to being part of the show in a long time, and it's the neatest that he's going to be able to fit back into the show if he's able to return.
Yep. I will say, and I don't know if you guys picked it up, but what just happened?
What the hell is going on? Lachlan's dropped out.
Just dropped out for a second. I will say, and I don't know if you guys picked it up as well, but Big E has lost a lot of size.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has.
He didn't look so. He looked like medium E.
He looked like I'm not as big as I was E. But
yeah, it's like definitely because he hasn't been able to work out the way he was able to before. Obviously, not be able to keep that size that he had.
Yeah.
So of course it's going to affect him, but I really didn't, because you don't really see him that close to other like wrestlers or anything on these panels, because he's normally standing next to like Jackie Redmond or like the host of these panels. So you don't really see the size disparity until you saw him with his two best friends that you've been next to each other for God knows how long, and you see how big he is normally. You're like, oh, geez, he really has.
Well, he
lost size.
He was back with CM Punk a little bit. I mean, people are saying they feel so sorry for Big E. You're supposed to. The segment works. I thought it was excellent. I absolutely thought it was excellent, and I thought that it put a nice coda on the New Day as they were, and I think that the heat on Kofi and Woods, which it needs freshening up, it's going to be they're going to be so hated. And to turn Kofi Kingston is a difficult thing. He's not a wrestler that's easy to turn heel, but they've done it.
And let's face it, they've made the New Day more interesting than they have been in years.
Yeah,
the last couple of weeks.
Quite true. Quite true. Let's move on to some, and just a big fan of that, and I wanted to mention it. Some AEW news: Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly were the final two men remaining in Wednesday's Dynamite Dozen Battle Royal, outlasting 10 other men, and will now square off with the winner facing MJF at the Saturday, December 28th pay-per-view with MJF's Dynamite Diamond Ring on the line. Look, Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly have had some fucking amazing matches. Go and watch some of their Ring of Honor matches. Even their NXT matches were really, really good. I think this is only a good thing, but just give them a decent amount of time.
Yeah, well, they're on Dynamite. That Winter is, what is it called? Winter is Coming.
Yep, right.
They're on that show. That's going to be a really big Dynamite. You've got that. You've got Mina Shirakawa and Mariah May. That match is also going to be on that card. I think if I'm right, no, I'm not right because that's the Christmas one. But that episode is going to be really, really good. So that's going to be interesting to see. Fun heel turn and split from Top Flight for Action Andretti and Leo Rush during that Battle Royal. Was it, or was it just a Battle Royal thing?
I think it was just a Battle Royal thing, Jamie. Jamie from Pario chipped in with that. Are any of us going to the AEW show when they are here? I'm not. I have commitments in Adelaide soon after. In Adelaide, yes, soon after that. So I need to save my pennies from the Adelaide trip.
I will be there, but I'm also going to be on the Super Show the night before.
Yeah.
So
if you're going to AEW, make sure you get tickets to the Super Show. There you go. It's pretty easy. Go to Oztix.
Yeah, I would definitely be there. Probably getting booed.
In a document obtained by Fightful, former AEW wrestler Ryan Nemeth, who is Dolph Ziggler / Nick Nemeth's brother, filed a complaint with several executives in which he claimed he suffered abuse, harassment, and threats while the company. With the company specifically from CM Punk, and that AEW didn't do anything about it. Yeah, that happened. I mean, I'm not trying to diminish Ryan Nemeth's journey, but it happens. I'm sorry it happened. But here's some of the dates and incidents that Nemeth outlined.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing too, though. Thank you. The abuse, harassment, and threats all stem from something that he said about CM Punk on Twitter. So he pretty much fucked around and found out.
Yep.
It's easy to be a keyboard warrior until you have to step away from the keyboard and actually face the person you type about. And I think that's basically what had happened. And then the other stuff happened that you're probably going to read off. So
I am going to read it out. Here's some of the dates and incidents that Nemeth outlined according to Fightful. All dates are in 2023, unless otherwise indicated. So on April 16, 2023, Nemeth claimed he contacted former Chief Legal Officer Mega Parak with concerns that he would be targeted by Punk on June 21, 2023. Nemeth claimed that Punk threatened him in a locker room, apparently due to Nemeth's infamous softest wrestler alive tweet. Also stating Parak, the Young Bucks, and Tony Schiavone showed him empathy for the incident. He wasn't booked to wrestle for 2 months and said John Moxley supported him, claiming Moxley said the situation didn't sit right with him. On July 17, 2023, Nemeth again contacted Parak about a lack of response to the alleged locker room incident and felt he had been silently fired due to speaking up, which Parak assured him wasn't the case. He was concerned for his per date contract. Wouldn't be renewed. On August 12, 2023, Nemeth arrived in Greensboro, North Carolina for collision and was told to go home. An incident that was previously reported. The situation was initially said by Pat Buck to be simple travel confusion before he later told Nemeth Punk didn't want him there. Okay. After calling Parak again and requesting for AEW to do something, Nemeth said he was flown to a Wednesday, August 16 Dynamite in 2023. He was told to cut a promo in front of the live crowd where he would verbally antagonize Punk. He then met with both AEW, HR, and Legal on that same day. He was unsatisfied with their response. He was one of the people that spoke to outside counsel as part of the investigation AEW launched after Punk and Jack Perry's backstage fight before All In. And Nemeth last worked for AEW on November 18, 2023. His contract expired in March 2024. The report stated that Chris Peck of AEW's legal team reached out to work out a settlement for approximately 3 years' salary in exchange for an NDA following the submission of the timeline, assumed to be in September 2023 while he was still at the company. Nemeth said he was interested and wanted to discuss it more before being told it was pulled off the table for reasons that are unclear. There's a lot to unpack there. What do you think? I don't know how much of that you heard, Lachlan, while you were otherwise occupied with champagne and caviar.
I will say I love how this is being framed, that it is all Punk's fault, where Punk really was just the initiate of it. And then all of Nick's other problems happened. Well, sorry, Ryan's other problems were with AEW management and AEW HR and people involved in that. And like, I've got my theories about what exactly happened, but I don't want to say them. Well, not on a public forum. But I've got a fair idea of what has happened here.
Everything indicates that Punk's been a model citizen in WWE as well. He's helping the young boys. He's doing everything he can to be 100% correct. He's apparently going there with a great attitude and smiling and enjoying himself. And cranky Uncle Phil, as he has been in the past, seems to have taken a back seat to CM Punk, the professional wrestler, being professional, which is quite wonderful.
But also too, if Nemeth was uncomfortable about being around Punk because he thought he might be in like some sort of danger of being bullied or whatever it was, then wouldn't it make sense for them to say, okay, then don't be on the show that he's on.
Yeah.
We'll keep you guys separated. So of course when he's like Punk doesn't want you here because we're going to have problems. We might have problems here. Best way to avoid those problems is to not have you around each other.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and do they expect them to send Punk home and have Nemeth on Collision? Because let's face it, and no offense to the guy, but I don't think anyone has ever paid a ticket to see Ryan Nemeth wrestle, specifically.
Lachlan has that way. Lachlan has that guy there.
No, I didn't pay.
No, he didn't. That's fair. He didn't either.
He didn't. Finally, from AEW, Lachlan's favourite wrestler in the world, Chris Jericho's ROH World Title Challenger at Final Battle has been revealed. It will be Matt Cardona, who made a surprise appearance at Wednesday night's Ring of Honor TV and AEW Dynamite taping in Fishers, Indiana, to confront Jericho and challenge him to a Ring of Honor World Title match at Final Battle on December 20 at the Hammerstein Ballroom. I have my thoughts on this. Do you guys anything to say before I
think this is peak petty Tony.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. It's a disgusting middle finger to GCW, and there is no need to do it.
And not only that, but this has got me ranting, right?
Here we go.
After this, it's clearly Tony being super petty about GCW, but on top of that, it takes all question out of the equation because he's not going to put a Ring of Honor world title belt on somebody who is consistently appearing at GCW and is not under contract to Ring of Honor or AEW. It's just not going to happen. So not only are we seeing a waste of a main event slot on a match with an outcome that we 100% know what is going to happen, but on top of that, right, it means that we have to see more Chris Jericho World Champion appearances. And I don't want to see that. Get him out of here already.
You've never mentioned that, Lachlan. I've never heard you say those words before. I'm shocked. Let's move on. At New Japan Pro Wrestling, Wrestle Kingdom 19 years of Wrestle Kingdom. It's been great. Saturday, January 4, 2025. IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions Kushida and Kevin Knight will be defending against Robbie Eagles, Kohei Fujita, TJP, Francisco Akira, Clark Connors, and Drilla Maloney in a four-way. Come on, Robbie! I'd really love Robbie to take that out. NJPW World TV Champion Ren Narita will defend against Jeff Cobb and Raiho Uia in a three-way.
Please, let Lachlan do that name, please.
Yeah.
Ryohei Uia?
Ryohei Uia.
Why does it sound like you're talking backwards when you say it? Sounds like a tape going in reverse.
If you play it in reverse, there's a really great recipe for chicken. There's also the IWGP Junior Heavyweight
21st century of us. Wrestle Radio Australia were available for children's parties. IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion Dookie defends against El Desperado. What will be a fantastic match. There is no doubt that's going to be absolutely fabulous.
Definitely my favorite Green Day album. Yep.
El Desperado or Dookie?
Dookie.
Either could be true.
We should never play together again. IWGP Global Champion David Finlay defends against Yota Tsuji. I want to see Tsuji win that. I think he will. Hiroshi Tanahashi against Evil. And there you go, Lachlan, another great Green Day album. And IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Zack Sabre Jr. defends against Shota Umino in what is not the best main event for Wrestle Kingdom I've ever heard, but it'll be a good match.
No, and it looks like they've just added American Idiot to that match as well, so that's good.
Right. Great.
How about I do the old Excalibur gimmick through the Dynasty card, hey? We got Shota Umino versus Claudio Castagnoli. We've got Kenny Omega versus Gabe Kidd. We've got the International Women's Cup 4-way. We've got Tomohiro Ishii challenging either Shingo Takagi or Konosuke Takeshita for the Never Openweight Championship. It'll be a double title match with the AEW International Championship also on the line if Takeshita is still champion going into Wrestle Kingdom 19. It's also got Jack Perry versus Yota Tsuji, and it's got Zack Sabre Jr. versus Ricochet. That one's going to be an IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match if Zack Sabre Jr. defends on night one, which... come on. And it wouldn't surprise me as well if the Yota Tsuji match, if he becomes the new IWGP Global Champion, that may be on the line against the scapegoat Jack Perry on night 2, but that has not been confirmed.
Timu Raven.
Well, I wasn't going to say it. We need to come up with
it. So I guess that we haven't heard enough from Lachlan tonight. So we're going to throw to
No one's ever heard enough from Lachlan. You know, when I'm not on the podcast, the other host should be saying, "Where's Lachlan?"
Shut up.
We did at the start.
Yeah, we said, and we didn't want to say what your writer was. Because we haven't heard quite enough from Lachlan, we've got a 20-minute chat after the break coming up with Buddy Murphy, the AEW superstar and the guy who's going to be appearing at MCW Endgame this coming Sunday. I haven't seen this. I don't know if Todd has, but I am really excited to sit and watch this. We're going to come back and we're going to do... No, it's not a babyface turn, Matt. You're out of the show. So we're going to come back and we're going to do our chicken shit and chicken salad. So stick around. We'll see you in about 25 minutes.
Yeah, let me put him over first before we do the thing. I actually, because I had to edit some stuff, as you do, just cut off the little... thingies. So I listened to this interview and I even messaged Lachlan after it and I said that was possibly his best interview so far. It was really, really good. I think my words were, these are the fucking interviews that we should do all the time. Because this is what I had, I have to every now and then just give him a bit of props. So, it was a really, really good chat. I was really, really proud of the work he did on this one. So congratulations, Lach. You did really well, mate. And, I even think I put on X that I could not wait for other people to hear this chat because of how good I thought it was.
That means a lot, Todd. But I especially want to give a shout out to Buddy, who was so generous with his time. I think we got 23 minutes of interview with him. Right. Yeah. So like for him to be able to not only be that generous with his time, but also in the way he answered questions, he was so ready to lay out his thoughts and give nice deep answers that I'm proud of what I did, but I think Buddy made this an interview worth watching.
So we're gonna have a quick break. And when we come back, we will be going straight to that interview. Stick around though, because you'll hear our chicken shit and chicken salad after the interview. So we look forward to hearing you then. Don't forget, if you want to look snazzy as Buddy does in this interview, pick up a Wrestle Radio Australia t-shirt. We've got our merchants at Redbubble. Just search for Wrestle Radio Australia. The money doesn't go to us. No. It goes straight to Beyond Blue and Gotcha for Life. Two charities doing awesome things for men's health, men's mental health. And don't forget, if you're listening to us on through the Apple apps, give us a review, preferably 5 stars, because we're fucking awesome. And so is this interview. So we're going to go to the ad, and we'll see you a bit later.
Kick off your AEW Grand Slam weekend the right way with an unforgettable night of wrestling action at the iconic Eden's Hill Hotel in Brisbane on Friday, February the 14th. As Pro Wrestling League and Renegades of Wrestling present the Australian Wrestling Super Show. With an open door policy, expect the unexpected. You never know who might appear to shake things up. Whether you're a long-time fan or new to the Australian wrestling scene, this is the perfect way to start your weekend off with a bang. Get your tickets now from oztix.com.au and don't miss this incredible night of Australian wrestling action.
The Australian Pro Wrestling Podcast, Wrestle Radio Australia. My name is Lachlan Albert, and I'm joined today by a former WWE Cruiserweight Champion, a former AEW Trios Champion, among other things, and a multi-time MCW World Heavyweight Champion. It's the man himself, Buddy Matthews. Buddy,
you missed a lot.
Amongst other things, there's a big list.
Amongst other things?
There's only so much time we can
NXT
record.
Tag Team Champions. Cruiserweight Champion. Raw Tag Team Champion with Seth Rollins, right? You can't forget about that. The Trios Champion. Maybe I'm forgetting some. There's got to be more, right?
Sure.
There's probably it has to be. It has to be.
It's a long list.
I got to look at my office. I got them all there.
Yeah, that's the way. Look, we're here because obviously we're getting very close to February 15th. Brisbane Entertainment Centre, AEW Grand Slam Brisbane is coming up. A hometown return for you to, or home country return.
Home country, yeah.
What do you think the feeling is going to be like? Because last time you had one of those big internationally broadcasted shows, it was in Melbourne, in your home city. What's it going to be like working for a new international company and coming back to Australia?
Well, I feel like going back to that one in 2018, which you're referring to, it wasn't meant to be about me. It just became about
you
because of the performance that we put on, and obviously Australia getting behind their own. But I feel like it's going to be the same. It just depends on what the whatever situation I'm put into when it comes to the performance here. But I think that I can strongly say that I haven't had a bad performance, well, for the most part. They're bad to me. They're bad performances for me. But for the most part, everyone's very positive on my performances. So I don't see this being any less. And then obviously being in Australia, I'll amp it up a little bit. And that means, we're going to do some war paint. We'll get the new gear. We'll bring the Wembley feel that we normally do as the House of Black. So, but yeah, we don't know the situation that I'm going to be put in, whether it be singles, tag, trios. But there's not a bad money match.
Oh, absolutely.
And then I'm blowing smoke up my own, gimmick. But I feel very confident with that. So just putting it in Australia will just be just more fire under me.
And look, we know that you're going to be the most self-critical when it comes to your work, but we've seen some incredible stuff from you. And speaking of coming back to the hometown, MCW Endgame is this weekend that we're building up towards. Only a few days away as we record. The champ himself, Nick Armstrong, has said some words.
I'm seeing that he's calling me out. I didn't think that he was there anymore. But I'm scheduled to make an appearance, but who is he? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Is you really going to say something to get under my skin? But calling himself a champ, I don't know what titles he's ever held.
No, and after that list of accolades we spoke about for you,
exactly. How many star ratings has he got? You know what I mean? We'll head down to Endgame on Sunday. I'll make an appearance. But if I'm not gonna lie, if he steps in, if he gets in my way, there's no one that I am scared of. There's no one that I'm not willing to put in their place. It could be MJF himself. I'll put him in his place. So at this moment, I am not even thinking about Nick, whatever is something strong, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Look, speaking of willing to get in and get dirty with anyone, I know that we had Carl Fletcher on the podcast just the other week, and he mentioned that you two, both the Aussie talents, have never even shown up on screen together. He mentioned he would like to get a piece of you and show off how good that match could be.
Is there anyone that you're thinking of where you're going, that's a match I'd really like to show off?
I think me and Kyle's good. I was actually asked this question before too. I just feel like that as much as Kyle has that, he's on that way up, and he's done some great stuff, but he's new to the spotlight. I have experiences that he hasn't even imagined. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've wrestled in front of 80,000, 90,000 people. I have done everything. I've held championships. I've wrestled in a pandemic. I have wrestled what's he call himself? The OTC? I've wrestled. You know what I mean? I've been in the ring with the absolute best. I've wrestled the best in the world. CM Punk. So that reference. But I've wrestled them all, and he's only new to this new spotlight. So yeah, like I'm more than, we can do that here. You want Kyle versus? I'm happy to do that. But at the end of the day, like, my experience will trump him. You know what I mean? As much as he is on that way up, I'm happy to derail it.
Excellent. Well, let's quickly talk about the House of Black. Obviously, you guys have been trios champs there. It's been mentioned a few times that you can sometimes be seen as a bit of an outlier of the House of Black, where we've got that strong black metal influence and you're coming through a bit more clean cut. Do you see your future sticking with the House of Black long term?
So, you're looking at the exterior, right? And you're seeing what you see. Like, my whole legs are tattooed. You know what I mean? You just don't see it. Do I have as much as them? No. Do I have a badder attitude than them? Yes. Do I bring a more physical aspect to the house? Yes. I am the 5'11" juggernaut. I am the 5'11" powerhouse of that group. Malachi does his thing. He's the architect of it all. He puts it together. He puts the game plan. He gets in people's heads. We have Brody, who is a powerhouse, and he ain't me, right? We complement each other in so many different ways, and there isn't a trio that I believe that work as good as us. Right? We beat the elite. We beat the elite of the elites. We beat Kenny and the Bucks. The trios titles were made for that group, and we took the titles off them. So, yeah, we are probably the greatest trio. So leaving and disbanding, like, we might go on excursions, left, right, and center, maybe some singles, some tags, but disbanding and breaking up, I don't think that it's, to me, it's not on the cards. So
love to hear it.
Yeah, I feel like we have such a unique package. When you kind of, on the other side, we have such a unique package of what we deliver. We bring such a physicality. We bring such an aura, a presence, just a package in general that no one else in AEW offer.
Absolutely. Now, while we're speculating about the future, I know that there's often speculation about contracts, speculation about where people might end up. I know that comes up a lot in terms of your career. And do those conversations put a chip on your shoulder? Do they get in your head when it comes to performance? Like, what does that constant discussion do to your mentality?
I need to know what you're referring to, though. Like, what's the talk?
Sure. So
more context, please.
Sure. There's lots of conversations about when people's contracts are ending, specifically, this person's contract is up in a little while.
Okay.
And I've heard some people discuss the fact that they feel you might be WWE bound at some point in the future.
Okay.
Right. When that's happening, like, how does that kind of affect the performance side of it?
It doesn't impact anything. It's anything that is on Twitter, or what's it called? X. I don't even use
everything
it. It's just called negative to me. Like, there is nothing positive on that. It's just where people can honestly feel better about themselves. It doesn't do anything positive in the world, and this is my perception of it. So the ideas of listening to people talk contracts and you can speculate, but when you're putting it on a forum to try and generate either a negative, because it's a negative, you're trying to generate a negative reaction regardless, because it's not ever put in a positive way. That you're just trying to get people on your side. So it doesn't affect me because I don't even look at it. The performance doesn't affect that because I have a job that needs to be done. So the speculation is fine, but it doesn't affect me. I guess this is a long thing. But yeah, I needed to get that thing out. That what people say and how they determine it and what they want to put out, that doesn't, it's in one ear out the other. It's not even in the ear. It's look and move past. I feel like a lot of people on Twitter think that they have enough power and they're trying to generate a reaction. But to be fair, none of us give a shit.
Amen.
None of us give a shit.
Look, we are.
I swear. I feel like it needs.
Go for it. Go for it.
That. No one gives a shit.
Look, we're Wrestle Radio Australia, so we want to talk a bit about the Aussie scene. Obviously, we've mentioned you'll be at MCW Endgame this weekend. Is there any, other than yourself, Aussie talent, especially around that MCW area, that you see big things for in the near future?
So, I've been out of it for a little bit now, so I don't have my fingers on the pulse like I used to. But I feel like the Pariah have something unique. They definitely have a personality. And I'm obviously very close with them. So I've worked with them in the ring when they came over to visit. And they've got a lot to learn. They do have a lot to learn. And I feel like they realised they had a lot to learn by being in there with me. But that's the thing about Australian wrestling is that, like, if we're going to be honest, it's a bubble, right? And, like, the wrestling world is a bubble. Like, I'm in a bubble. I'm in an AEW bubble. There's a WWE bubble. There's a pro wrestling bubble, but the rest of the world aren't in that bubble. So what we think that affects us in our bubble, when you take a step out, you realise that it's so insignificant. And there's a lot of times, like when I'm waiting at the airport, waiting to get picked up to go to the airport, I'll just stare at the stars and just be like, I say this to the wife all the time. I just look at the stars like, we are so insignificant, right? Like you just look at it and you go, there's all of that, and here I am worrying about what blah 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 says or whatever. So, but going back to, we're all in these little bubbles. So when these little bubbles of 100 people are like, you're this, you're this, you're this, that outside of that bubble, no one knows, right? And I feel like that's what they had by being in the ring with. And like Australian wrestling is very much like that. It's like you haven't learned, you haven't been out there, you haven't been in the ring and had that experience with someone that has done it, right? And trust me, I learn to this day on every performance what I should have done, and I pick everything apart. If I watch a match, there's some matches I can't even watch back, right? But I have to, as a person that is such a detailed artist, that I need to review it and see what I would do differently, because that's what it is. It's an art. We're listening to audiences, we're telling stories, we're doing acrobatics, we're doing stunts, we're doing it all in one live shot. So I'm not naive to know that I know everything, because I don't, but I know more than most. Right, and I've learned from the best, like I said before. So when those guys came over, they really got to see things the way that I see things, and I think it really opened their mind up, and they really went out, came back, and were like, "Oh shit, I don't know anything." Right? When in that bubble, they were told that they were the best. Right? So that's my biggest thing to Australian wrestlers and inspiring wrestlers and whatever. Is that step outside that bubble and realise that that bubble is just so small. And yes, it's your world and whatever like that, but just step outside of it and look at the bigger picture. Because when you do that, you're opening your mind. I call it like the Limitless. You know the movie Limitless where he takes the pill and
Pill that expands the mind.
Yeah,
That's it.
that is, in my opinion, what we need to do when it comes to pro wrestling. It's just think outside the box. Think completely different. Think about what everyone else is going to do on that show, but what can you do to stand out a little bit? And I feel like with my performances, I'll find one little thing to do in that match which will go, oh, that's different, right? Whether it's an injury angle or me coughing up blood, and if I can make people believe for a second, just a second, go, oh, like, no, that got him. No, it's fake. No, I think that one got him, or he's hurt. No, he's not hurt. No, he's hurt. Like, he's not. That's what I'm good at, and that's what I lean into. So it's just taking that, what we all do, because we all know how to do the moves, think outside that fucking box, and then think outside the box for the wrestling psychology, but then think outside that bubble of how we all don't know anything. Does that make sense?
It does.
I'm just going down a massive, like, psychological thing. Like,
well, this is fantastic.
No, but that's the thing. It's just stepping outside that bubble. But going back to your original question, which was who I think.
We took a journey there.
But yeah. But the prayer are good, but they do need to work on a lot of stuff. And that was the thing. When we did work together, they realised that they do know nothing. So that being said, that's why I kind of like coming to these MCW shows, and doing, and like, ask, like, when people come and ask me something, like, well, what could I do? How could I get this thing? By me just trying to explain something in a way that I might say it 4 or 5 different times, 5 different ways. And they might understand one, because that's how I understood. They say the same thing, I might understand one and go, that's where it went off. So it's just doing that. Have a objective and try and figure out how to get to that no matter what. Because you have the matches, the moves, you have the time. That time and the moves are to navigate to that emotion. So how are we going to get that emotion? Whether it's laugh, cry, sad, happy, whatever emotion that you're trying to get from that performance, navigate to get to it. Don't just do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but no one gives a shit.
Amen. Love
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So, look. Big things from Theseus and Eros. Keep an eye out on.
They're good, but they're going to learn. And then, like, Adam Brooks is very good. He's technically very good, but needs to step outside that bubble. He has to be different. And he's aware of it. He's starting to see it. But, like, I feel like he had that match with Will Ospreay, and that was like his breakout moment. But then he had that same match with everyone, right? And he just replaces, like, Will Ospreay's moves with everyone else, whatever their wrestler was. And it got to the point, and it went through it with the prayer too. They go, oh, watch this match. By match 2, I was already calling the match. How did you know that? You've done 5 of them.
Yeah.
All your matches are the same. And then that's one of those things you have to kind of break down and go, oh, even though you're doing it in different areas, like someone like yourself has seen a lot of it, you're watching it, you can already tell because you've watched it all. So you just change one little thing, change the dynamic, go for the same thing, but then do the twist on it.
And you're exactly right about getting out of the bubble, right? Like Brooksy, for instance, had a match with Moose fairly recently. And
Did
you
he?
can see,
Moose?
Yeah, Moose from TNA.
When
And
was
you can
this?
This was at OPW in Ballarat a few months back.
There you go. I'm not even aware.
And you can see that getting out of that bubble, working with someone from a totally different space, can really change the way that flows, and it affects the wrestling there. So, I mean, that's just to back up exactly what you're saying.
But moments,
That's
right?
it.
How do I, like, my new big thing is how do I get the most out of the squeeze? How do I get more juice from the squeeze? So how do I seem like I'm doing a lot more by doing less, right? And you'll see I do it in a lot of my matches, whether it's because I obviously very explosive and whatever. So I need a way to slow myself down, right? So there could be me, like, I always sell something, or rather than taking like a 3 clothesline bump and feed like everyone else does, like, give me one thing to level me and I'll sell it. Just let me eat shit on it and I'll make it look so good that we can go straight into fucking false finishes. And that's what I do. That's why my matches are a little bit different. Like, give me something big enough for me to sell for my size, and it's believable. So we don't need to get up 3 times and give me 3 things that no one's going to talk about. Bumps hurt, guys. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I'd rather take a spike DDT than 3 clotheslines. You know what I mean? One feels
landed on a mattress.
Yeah, it's one of these things just getting more juice from the squeeze, and that's like my new thing.
Absolutely.
Get more out of less.
So I don't want to take up too much of your day, but as we've said, MCW Endgame coming up this weekend, and then on February 15th, you're back here in Brisbane Entertainment Centre for AEW Grand Slam Brisbane. Tickets on sale now. That's going to be a big moment. Like we said, moments, that's the big AEW Australian show. Where do you hope that takes the international feel of AEW going forward? Like, do you see this as the start of an AEW explosion within Australia?
Yes, like I'm not too familiar because I know we've just started to recently get on ESPN and whatnot. So the steps are happening, but it's a baby company. It's 5 years old. Like, you know, it's not like the other company where it's got the backing. You know what I mean? Like, you have to remember, like, back in the day when I started watching, it was on Fox Sports, on Fox Television, the only way you could watch it at 8:30 on a Tuesday. So, like, obviously times are different. Streaming's more available, so it's becoming more available to more people. But there's so much more to compete with now. It's not wrestling's wrestling. You have to compete with Netflix now. You have to compete with movies, with YouTube, people creating stuff. Content creating has just become so big that it is all competition for people's attention, right? Technically, you are competition with this radio interview is competing against WWE, against the movies, against Dexter, because it's taking people's attention.
Every second of time someone's ingesting something, they're not doing anything else.
Exactly. And like, you know, sitting doing like TikTok, it's so much now. It's not that one show on at this time. Like, it's overly saturated, which is a good thing, but yet a bad thing because it becomes too accessible. And when something becomes too accessible, it needs to move faster because you get bored of it. And I could say, like, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Toy Story.
Toy Story, okay. If I said, watch Toy Story every Monday, right? How many times could you watch Toy Story?
There's a number of times before it's the same thing every time.
Exactly. So stuff needs to change. But imagine you had to watch that every Monday, but then all your feed on Instagram was just Toy Story. You'd be like, oh, I'm so sick of seeing it. Buzz turns buzzing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you know, you become numb to it. And that's the thing. It's a good thing, but it's a bad thing. So it's how do you navigate that and do enough to generate people to tune in and watch something. And that's another thing. It's on television, yeah. But if I miss it, who cares? I can watch the thing on Instagram. I can see the best parts on YouTube. You know what I mean? You don't have to sit there but if I want to watch a movie, I have to watch the whole thing to get that end, right? Or you get it on DVD and, you know, whatever. You know, if you're really invested, you'll go to the movies and watch it, right? And you'll sit there and you popcorn, you'll be excited and all that.
And with the way you're doing something different every time and then leading to something bigger next time, always exciting.
Yeah.
Awesome. Buddy, thank you so much for your time. Catch you next time.
Appreciate it, man.
Do you want to be a pro wrestler? Then sign up now to the Relentless School of Pro Wrestling.
Located 50 minutes west of Melbourne with a full gym, strength and conditioning coaches, a nutritionist and world-travelled professional wrestling coaches to help you achieve your goals in professional wrestling business. Whether you want to be a wrestler, a manager, referee, or just involved in the industry, with no tryout required, the Relentless School of Pro Wrestling is here to help you achieve your goals.
All you have to do to start your journey is sign up now to be relentless.
Really good. Good interview, Locke.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. And thank you, Andy, in the chat for the kind words as well.
I also got to say, just quickly, massive thank you to Toby for coming out and helping us too with filming it, because I wasn't able to get the time off from my shoot job to go and help doing that. So for him stepping in, absolute massive thanks to the guy.
And to Josiah, who helped out as well.
Yes.
Josiah. I'm sure that'll be up on our YouTube eventually, at some point over the next few weeks. So well done, Lachlan. We've praised you enough. Let's move on.
Let's see if I can get this big head out the door when I stand up.
Yeah, you got to pick your girlfriend up. Good luck leaving the house. Kick Out merch at kickout.com.au. It has merch supplied of your favourite Queensland wrestlers. So, if you still want an Outback Adam shirt, maybe you can get one there. And also wrestlers from all over the country. If you want your merch on the site, contact Kick Out Merch through their Instagram page. Pretty easy to find. Have a look for that.
Yeah, that'll be Insta. Yeah, there's been a real gap in the market of being able to buy Aussie wrestler merch online. So the guys at Kick Out and kickout.com.au have stepped in to sort of help fill that void, especially up here in Queensland. A lot of Queensland wrestlers at the moment who are signed up to there. I know there'll be a few more joining as of in the coming weeks and months and that sort of stuff. I know Mitch Ryder, you can get a one-shot shirt on there now. So I know he signed up. There's a lot of guys that are on that site. And like Jeff said, if you're a wrestler around the country and you want to sell your merch online and you don't really want to be bothered dealing with having to do all that stuff yourself and sending it out and handling all that, contact the guys over at Kick Out Merch. They're on Instagram at Kick Out Merch, or Kick Out, I think it is. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it's Kick Out Merch. But contact them and they'll work out a deal with you, the same standard deal they have for everybody. And yeah, Pario Magazine is right. Wrestler merch really closing left a huge void in that market. And it's something that the guys over there and girls over there at Kick Out Merch are trying to help Australian wrestling as well. So do get over there and support them, please.
The wrestlers who do have their merch on there's some names that we've talked about potentially being huge in the Australian scene very soon, right?
Yeah,
guys,
you want a culture shirt? You can get a culture shirt.
All cultures up there, Bobby Bishop's there, Renegades there, guys that are just JJ Avery's there, guys who are clearly going to be big deals and who have got awesome performances. Go support them. Grab some merch. Awesome to see.
Yeah, while we're talking about that, support the wrestlers. Go buy T-shirts. Support these people. Yes, they entertain you, but Australian wrestling still at the top level. Doesn't pay that much. Give them some support. And while we're talking about giving people things, give us a subscribe. Yes, you can subscribe every week to Wrestle Radio Australia. You can subscribe and watch it here live on Twitch. You can watch it on Facebook. You can watch it on YouTube. Or you're probably listening to this tomorrow. If you are, subscribe. Follow us on Google Music. Follow us on Spotify. Follow us on all of your favorite podcast apps, Podbean, all the rest. We are here every Thursday night. 7:30 Australian Eastern Time, 8:30 Australian Eastern Summertime. But of course, the name of the show is Making Chicken Salad. We talk about the good, we talk about the bad. Let's talk about the bad first. Lachlan, what's been shit this week?
Can we go to Todd first?
Okay. No, Todd's done that enough. Todd, what's been shit?
Yeah, he's pulling a me gimmick.
He is.
Nia Jax, that was shocking. She was terrible in that War Games. Absolutely terrible. That is one. Another one that I was thinking about this week, and I think I saw it on, somebody said on X as well. In the past week or so, there have been 3 or 4 people that have been taken out backstage in the same sort of way on TV. I think Jay was taken out this week. Jade Cargill was taken out. Eddie Thorpe got taken out the same sort of way. I mean, come on, guys. There's other ways you can do these things. Let's think about this. Especially it's the same brand. I mean, it's the same company, WWE. Converse. This is what we're going to do, guys. maybe you don't do it. It's sort of like the same way of talking about your matches going forward. Hey, we're going to do a powerbomb off the top. Maybe we don't do that in every match. So it's just that sort of thing annoys me because there are plenty of other ways you could do this thing. You could do a live attack.
Andy from Bob Vance will come to that. Just hold on. Lachlan, what's your chicken shit?
So, I'm so sick of Chris Jericho, and I hate making it my chicken shit every week, but I'm so sick of it, and it keeps happening, and I feel like the more I talk about it, the more I'm like publicizing it and making it sound like he's a good heel, but I just don't freaking care. I don't want to see him anymore. So that's going to be my first one, and then my second one...
I just don't know what the payoff is for this character. Like, who's the big baby face that's going to come out of this? It's not going to be Brian Keith. It's not going to be Big Bill. Like, I don't know who the big payoff is. And this whole Matt Cardona thing is just a way to stick it to, like, GCW. Like, Cardona is a smart dude. He would have got a really good payday for this.
Oh yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, but there's just no, like, the payoff for him. Really, it should have been Briscoe. Briscoe would have been the payoff for Learning Tree. But now we're just stuck in this thing where I don't know what it is. Sorry, what was your other one, mate? Sorry.
I feel like WWE has one of the best chicken shit heels in the world. And in order to build up to Saturday night's main event, which is a show that I feel is not a big feeling event. I don't know what it is, but the build doesn't feel like it's been there to me. And I know that it's still a little while away, but in order to build a World Heavyweight title match, they got potentially the best heel in the world right now and had Gunther absolutely destroy him. And Dominic Mysterio had nothing to respond with. And I think that is devastating that there was no weaseling out of it. There was no... Yes, I get it. I know that it's for the Finn storyline, but I can see a world where Dom Mysterio is world champion, and
I think
having him crush. Okay, I'm happy to be alone in that. And when I get proven right in a couple of years, I'll tell you all that. Look, I was here by myself, and I was right.
Will you be next to Sami Zayn with the world title then?
Look, I think...
Or Cody, who's a heel.
Cody is a heel. I think that if they'd done a little more effort in backing up the shenanigans of Dom Mysterio, he would look less like an idiot coming out of that Finn Balor.
He's supposed to
mate, they're turning him face. I hate to break this to you. They're turning Dom face. And so why would you do it?
They should keep him heel. Because he's the best. He's the only heel who's ever turned heel.
He's the only heel.
The problem with your logic is that the fans are turning him babyface. It's not the company's not turning him babyface. The fans are turning him babyface. So the company is just going with what the fans are like.
I know,
starting
and
to
by
lean
doing
towards.
that, they're going to lose all the heat from him. So anyway,
but they won't. They won't lose the heat from him because he'll be a big babyface, and then when he turns again, one day down the road, it'll be the same. He's a good worker, so he knows how to work that. Like, as much as people like boo him now with Liv, as soon as this whole thing with Liv and Rhea are over and they're separated and Rodriguez has turned on Liv and then Liv and Dom are babyface duo, people are going to love them. They're moving merch now as heels. They're going to move so much more merch as babyfaces.
I cannot wait until Dom turns on Liv and starts making out with Raquel.
Sure. I'll tell you mine. It's that Bronson Reed is injured. I just don't like that. He was getting a really nice push. I get that he probably was quite happy to do the spot, and I get that he was as safe as possible. He landed wrong. That's all there is to it. But I think right now Bronson's on a hot run, and it would be nice to see him, get a really, really decent push. So, I'm hoping that he recovers quickly and continues on the ascendancy that he's shown over the last couple of months. We can't. Matt Hustwaite says, "I bet my house that will get a short transitional title run from Dom Dom in the not too distant future." Matt, you're wrong.
Matt, thank you for joining me here on the island of relevancy.
Yeah, it'll be a. Look, he didn't say what title. He didn't say what title. I mean, they could bring the 24/7 back.
Yeah.
No. I'm kidding, but I could see a transitional title run for the IC title.
Absolutely.
I can see that.
On his way.
He's too early. He's too early in his career to be a world heavyweight champion. He's too early in his career for that.
The problem is, if they give him a run with it, he's not a good enough in-ring performer, considering the standards that WWE have set for themselves to be a credible world champion. And if they want him to be a babyface, the fans will boo that. If he's the IC champ, fine. But right now, WWE more than ever before is a real work rate company. And that's got to be taken into consideration as well.
Well, back in the day, if you remember, back in the day, the IC title was the work rate title.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of not the case anymore. As good as Bron Breakker is, that's more like the big meaty men bump and meat title now. Like you'll see the big like Sheamus and Braun and like, even though he's not a massive guy, like Kaiser goes out there and absolutely kills himself for these matches. Whereas you've got Gunther as the world champion, who is a workhorse. That is your workhorse title. More so like Cody is more so your traditional WWE world champion. Although he puts on really good matches, is not the workhorse type of thing. And even that, I can see him dropping that belt to Kevin Owens at Saturday night's main event.
Say Owens wins it, it goes back to being a workhorse title because he's an absolute workhorse.
Yeah.
So, you know. But we don't just talk about the bad stuff
torn
here.
freaking back.
Oh, no. We can't just talk about the bad stuff here. We also talk about the good. And the good things are here every Thursday on twitch.tv/Wrestle Radio Australia. But we've got to talk about what we've liked in the world of wrestling this week. Lachlan, what have you liked?
So
I'll go to Todd.
I've got no. I've got one that I think a few of us are going to share. So I'll lead with my one that is a little weirder, which is a match that I'm excited for because I think the people that have been selected for this match are bloody excellent choices. And that's the Women's Iron Survivor match that's going to be on NXT Deadline this weekend. We've got a lineup that is Zarya, so I'm in, Julia and Stephanie Vaquer, so it's going to be an incredibly solid match work rate-wise. And then to shine, Sol Ruka and Ren Sinclair. What a fantastic lineup for that type of match. You've got Julia and Vaquer have the experience to ring general that match without a problem. And you've got women in there who are absolutely incredible at shining in those great spots. I think that every woman in that match is going to come out of it looking like $1 million, and whoever wins gets to be number one contender for the women's NXT title. Yes, please. I'm happy with literally any of them winning it. Obviously, I'm biased towards Zarya, but any of them could win it and be justifiable number one contenders who will have a great title match. I am really, really, really excited for that match. And then, obviously, the New Day segment on Raw was art.
Yeah. Yeah. Todd, what do you think?
Look, mine at the moment is it's kind of like an overall chicken salad. Like, I love this time of year, especially when it comes to like Australian wrestling. It's like the pointy end of the season. It's like grand final time. If you're a sports head, this is like a grand final time. It's like where all your big stories, where all your big matches happen. It's like, I know we always say like every month, this is a massive match. This is where like the wheat meets the chaff, you know, and this is where it's like, this is what we've been building to all year. You've got like MCW this weekend with Endgame. Like, every match on that card has been built for a while. There's stuff going forward. There's like, you got like Jarvis and Lucky, which are going to go through the Icons thing, which has been building nicely over the year. You got of course the 3 stages of hell main event, where that like Pereira, Brooksy, Rocky Monero, that's been built over the whole year. Back to, I think it was like Ballroom Brawl, when they did the 2-night thing with Buddy, and all of that stuff going around from there.
No, that was 11. That was 11 in March. This has been building since.
There you go. Yeah, so there you go. You got like next weekend, we've got EPW, where their thing's been building all year, where you've got 4 credible title contenders in that main event. There are 4 guys that you could see coming out of that as the EPW champion, and you would not be, oh, that's pretty left field. That's a bit of a left field choice. You wouldn't say that, because all of them have been built in a way that they are all credible, like, champions coming out of that. I love this time of year, because this is where you see all the hard work that people behind the scenes have been putting in, like storyline wise, putting up the scaffolding all year to see what the final house looks like when it's been built. Like, I know that they're going to get a great crowd out at Willerton Stadium in EPW. Like, the Melbourne Pavilion, over 1,000 tickets sold, standing room only is left there. Like, this is what it's all about. I love this time of year when it comes to wrestling, especially because when it's over, we get like a good maybe half a month, maybe a month to decompress, and then we get back into the next one. And then, like, my personal one is my chicken salad this last weekend. I was able to step in the ring and have a match at Wide Bay, a tag team match for whatever it was. And I just, like, personally, I kind of want to thank Mitch and Renegade and Christina for really helping my old ass get through that, because I'm no spring chicken, and they made me look great. So I just wanted to thank them for that. And for a dude like me, when I started wrestling training, when I was 35, 36. So I never wanted to be a single star. I know that whole thing with like Austin's like, if you don't want to be the world champion, why are you in it? I was just in it because I loved it. And specifically, I love tag team wrestling. I've always loved tag team wrestling. The Rockers, the Heart Foundation, the Brainbusters, that was my jam growing up. So I always said, if I was ever when I was ever contemplating retiring, I just want to have a tag team match, because that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to be a tag team wrestler. And I got to do that last weekend. And not only that, I got to do it with a guy that is probably, in my opinion, one of the best wrestlers in this country who gets unrecognized, and that's Mitch Ryder. So, and to work with people like with Renegade, who is, again, he's another one of those guys that people rarely talk about when they talk about excellent workers. Just an unbelievable worker. So over with the crowd. So, like, I know I've just been rambling on for the last 5 minutes, and I apologize for that. But I just wanted to thank those guys. And, yeah, that's my chicken salad for the week.
Just quickly, I'll say that I spoke to Renegade this past week, and because I wasn't able to be at Wide Bay, I asked how you went in that match. And he was very complimentary and said that it was smooth as butter working with you. So clearly you got a future in this industry, mate.
Well, I know how to get beaten up. That's the thing. The one thing I'm good at is getting beaten up.
I have 2, and you've both kind of covered it. Firstly, MCW Endgame. 1,000 people this Sunday afternoon at the Melbourne Pavilion. I could not be more excited about this show. It's going to be great. On a personal note, I'm moving house this weekend, so it's going to be nice to kind of stop carrying boxes around and actually be able to go, I can sit and watch MCW and really enjoy this afternoon. I'm looking forward to catching up with some people that I know at that show, not only those in the ring, but also some of my mates at MCW. I'm looking forward to Jugs Bunny giving me a big hug and taking a photo with her, as she said earlier in the show. But my absolute chicken salad, and there's 2 of them. One is the end of the Women's Survivors qualifying match this week was so clever, and it's not an ending we see very often. It involved Lola Vice and her partner this Sunday, who is, of course, Jada Parker, going for a hit and hitting Ren Sinclair into the pin, and Ren got the pin. And it's just that kind of stuff that you don't see very often. And it was a really nice, well-booked ending to what was a very good match. Really, really impressed with that. But also that New Day segment. That's going to stay with me for a long time, because one thing that I'm enjoying about the Triple H era, if you like, is the truth behind things. And the truth behind this turn from Kofi and Woods has been beautiful.
That being said, too, like the New Day thing was great too, but also the opening segment with Punk and Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Because there was story, there was backstory, there was reasoning behind it. Because like when Punk was like, "Kid, you don't have the world title anymore. I don't really care about you. I have no reason to want to fight you. You might want to kick. You might want to hit me. I don't care about you, man."
Yeah.
Like, just the actual psychology behind it is great.
And what was nice is through the main event, Seth was starting to get booed. Seth is turning heel. It's undoubtable. Seth is absolutely turning heel. And I think he'll be great. Look, I think that was... I agree with you. I think Raw this week was actually one of the best Raws I've seen. It was so good. In-ring, it was great. Dom got the shit beaten out of him by Gunther, which Lachlan loves. Look.
To be fair, Gunther gave him a fair bit before he beat him. It wasn't a squash by any stretch of imagination. It was believable offense. Maybe that's what you can't get.
Yeah, that's the problem. I don't like my wrestling believable.
He hit a frog splash. He hit a 619. Like he did the thing really, really.
Remember
well.
when Ricochet was a Puma? Let's bring that back.
All right, Grandad. Thanks.
So then he couldn't talk. He didn't have to go on the mic.
So, for more of this kind of thing, join us every Thursday. We're at twitch.tv/WrestleRadio.
But before you shut it down, I just want to give a shout out to the boys at On the Turnbuckle, who last week had a really, really good interview with Rowan Herbstreit.
Oh my God!
Do get around it and listen to it if you get a chance. It was a really, really good interview.
Oh my God, didn't they? It was a fantastic interview, and it really shows that Rowan is thinking a lot about what he's doing. It's not that simple. It's not that easy. And well done to Rowan, and also well done to Bros and Welchie, who did that interview. Two guys I've never met. Wouldn't know who they are. I'm just joking, of course, because they're part of WrestleBrania. And hey, Adelaide, we're coming your way.
What's WrestleBrania?
WrestleBrania is a comedy wrestling panel show like no other. It is unique in the world, and Adelaide, for the first time ever, March 14 to March 17, we are coming your way. Yes, we're doing the big shows, 4 shows across that weekend. The venue is going to be announced next week. We will tell you what venue we're at next week. I am so excited about this. We have a lot of seats to sell, and we want you in that room because it's so exciting to finally be coming to Adelaide. Do not miss out. We are going to be back next week. Of course, we're going to be looking at MCW Endgame. We're going to give the EPW show a preview. Don't forget, all week it is Reawakening week. There are going to be interviews across the entire week that we will be dropping. We've got interviews with Tyler Jacobs, Hayden Zenith, and of course the P-Plater, Jesse Lambert. It's going to be a fantastic week. We are so excited about Australian wrestling here, and we're excited about you joining us each and every week. I think that's about it. Lachlan, anything to add? I don't care.
Thank you so much to Buddy Matthews.
Yeah, thank you to Buddy Matthews. That was fantastic. Todd, anything to add?
No, mate, I'm done. I've got no more shows to sell for the rest of the year, so I'm resting quite comfortably on my laurels.
Although, if you're still going to AEW and you haven't yet picked up tickets to the Australian Showcase the night before, grab them. Do not waste time. Grab them. It's going to be.
I saw the seat map today. If you want anything better than general admission, you'd better get on it now.
Yeah. Thank you all very much for supporting Australian wrestling. Keep supporting it. I will see some of you at Endgame on Sunday. Come up, say hi. Todd and Lachlan will see you at his local McDonald's, I'm sure. And Todd can be grumpy up there in Queensland. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you again real soon. Good night for now.
Amusing word.
Here I was, blaming AEW for feeding you chicken shit, knowing you mindless millennials would be eating it up as if it were chicken salad, when it's really been your fault all along.
Make chicken salad out of chicken shit.